E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are straight into the pistol. There is no mucking about on this stream. Joining me once again is Scrawny. JR is about to hit some shots, or maybe not. Chopper, in fact. Going to connect first. Able to do a lot of damage, but it's the T's trading things back. A bloodbath of kills. Only a second to pause as now Fitch going to add another. Only Hootie left alive. Looking to try and go for the 1 versus 3 retake, but looking unlikely.
Just comes barreling through the smoke, though. Actually drops the bomb thanks to the head of Fitch. But Tengri will find the pistol. Now, we were talking a little bit before this game went live, Tom, about how Vega Squadron on cash should be a beast to deal with. I mean, I'm getting flashbacks to their upset versus NIP. This is one of their home territories. So this will be a good map, hopefully, from them. That was a bit of a bedazzling pistol round. There was a lot of traffic within that connector vent area. We see JR just jump into his death trying to make room for the rotation, but ultimately, again, Tengri picking up that pistol and going straight into the rifle buy.
Saw very little of the CT side earlier from Vega Squadron. It was all about the T side. They absolutely dominated their match versus Pro 100, so in this round they've done a little bit of damage, but themselves they've got 3 players underneath that 28 HP. Only Hootie with really anything to play with. 4 rifles up on the board for the remaining members of Tengri. Playing this one very, very safe. Not sure how they will fare on cash, but Ramzik, the beast that is, hits the headshot. Chopper returns insane. Still going to be a minute left for the T's to move forward.
Already a couple clean headshots here in this one, but we do see Tengri really slowing down the pace at this point. They seem to have their eyes set over towards the A site, but this is where 2 defenders from Vega still stand. Again, Mir on 23 points of health is going to round the corner, looks for info, finds death instead. Sonic able to drop him out of this one as Chopper looks for some more dirty deegs, but he's going to fall back behind the red box, try to buy time for JR to rotate in, but now he's down. And that is it. Tengri convert the point. Fitch finding the last frag thanks to JR. But again, just pistols from Vega, and that wasn't half bad. A couple nice shots here and there, but ultimately Tengri weather that storm.
Definitely looking... I'm really looking forward to this match, actually. I think Tengri really showing their stuff earlier today. And it was actually a team performance. In the first day, at least, it was more looking towards, well, just Ramzik and a step up from Fitch as well along the way. But earlier today we saw every player on the server, and I think if anybody's going to be able to steal this minor away from Vega Squadron, this is the team to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this as the final. Pro 100 will have to really step up against whoever they face in this match, or in this round at least. Only pistols. Pachanga somehow gets away with 4 kills, eventually taken down. AK will be picked up for Cassandra, but I don't think that's going to last long. And although Fitch will TK, and an AK will actually be lost, I think, yeah. They're still going to make a lot of money over in that round. But the CTs, they're ready and raring to go with their buy.
So on Cobblestone, we saw a bit of back and forth play after the pistol, right? 4 spies coming through. This time around, Tengri's actually able to convert those 2 points after the pistol. So a fantastic start in the T side of their cash game. Does leave Vega on the buy here with the op included in the hands of JR, but lackluster utility, only 1 kit, could leave them straggling behind the executions of Tengri. Tengri going to go for the nades early on. Kashender just going to creep his way 2 under boost. And we see a nice spread defense here from Vega Squadron, but an emphasis towards the A site as Tengri do the same. They've snuck their bomb carrier within the squeaky door. 2 players for the crisscross smokes on mid, and Kashender's going to have to try and play the information as the bomb makes its way towards the site. Hutchie's going to fit the headshot, and a double and a triple as Mir with the 4th just obliterates that offense. Forward positioning from Hootie is able to get the man off locker room, and there it is. Vega Squadron hold things down.
No idea how he manages to get that much done from A main. I think you had to worry a little bit at the beginning of the round as you see the players building up in Squeaky, the AWPer, with his back to that very spot. They will at least convert the round. The problem being, though, they don't manage to retrieve the AWP. They lose a lot of weaponry in the meantime. And although their utility is hands down better than their opponents, the weaponry seeming quite limited. We're going to have to use that stopping power, slowing down these positions. In mid, at least, they're going to take some early aggression. Players put into vents and really looking to try and control this portion of the map. Unfortunately, thus far at least, Cassandra is down very, very low. They are going to be employing the boost, but it's been spotted. Attempting this earlier today, and it worked wonderfully, but this time, T's very much aware.
Yeah, that's 2 rounds now that Tengri at least takes some kind of a decision to prevent that mid control. Last round, we saw the grenades actually get thrown over, and Kashender was tagged ever so slightly. This time, they actually just watch it and still deal even more substantial damage. So, Pachenga's going to be the only A player here for Tengri, just locking down Squeaky Door, trying to keep the defense honest, not allowing for pushes, because it was the push into the locker room that actually facilitated Vega's round earlier when they win on that A hold. So Tengri, aware of it, going to creep their way into A main here and now. 2 players there, bomb included, but they're keeping their numbers thin. They're making sure that everybody's playing across the map, just hoping for some kind of an opening, trying to exploit a rotation as well. Nice little 2-man boost inside of Vent from Vega Squadron, flashing themselves out and dropping down. Costs Chopper his life, but Mir's able to trade back onto Fitch. The flashbang over towards A main is going to give away Hootie, and SNK with another frag. Hootie has to hold. He'll find one. The bomb dropped, but it's still a 3v2.
Hold in mid as well, but JR able to capitalize. He's made this possible, but he's got no kit, and while Ramzik denies him completely. The AWPer on point once again, starting this game strong, but it's actually Pachanga 9-3 at the moment at the top of the board. But yeah, I do feel like severely limited with the range. They had to go for these more aggressive angles, and we saw Cassandra tagged so low at the very beginning. And then the vent play, it does get a 1-for-1 trade, but it's not really worth anything once they've already lost the early man advantage.
Vega Squadron actually opting not to go fully invested into this one. They're going to keep most of their money rolling. We'll get some pistols and Kevlar and an opening headshot thanks to Chopper. Fitch able to open up first, but then toppled down. Ramzik's going to try to keep the push towards B at bay, and there it is. Hootie gets dropped. The op shot connects, and 3 players still up for Vega, 2 of which in mid. They're trying to get aggressive, trying to stay close so that they can employ these pistols in the faces of Tengri, but Tengri keeping them honest again, just watching holds. Kashander's going to be able to trade it back by 1, but still the man advantage held on to. Chopper towards the A site has found Deegs before, and another one potentially on the table. He is, however, the last man standing, and that's not going to stop him from at least finding another and an AK to boot.
To weigh up the decision of saving this weapon, and Ramzik seems aware, though the bomb is going to be able to cross onto the site. Does have a Molotov. Interesting to see where this can be used. No kit, so if he is going to go for this, he needs to find someone soon, and doesn't know that Ramzik's already crossing the CT. It won't matter. SNK gets himself the double. A lot of damage done, however, in that round, and that means that going into the next, if we can see Vega Squadron get themselves a second, it will almost guarantee a third.
So now Vega don't invest heavily into the previous round, allowing for them to go into this buy, but it comes at a kind of lackluster state. They're going to still get their 4 M4s, which is crucial, but low utility, not everyone on head armor. There's only that 1 kit. things could go south quite quickly. However, it's at least enough to hold them back. I'd love to see some aggression here from Vega. They're not going to be able to play the long con because of the lack of utility, so a boost into maybe mid or a push over towards A main. It was those aggressive positionings that actually allowed for them to find that first round. So why not try to replicate it? However, at the same time, Tengri have been doing a good job of just spreading their numbers thin and watching for those sorts of aggressions. We see one player per position all across the map. Tengri setting up into this default, leaving the bomb in the corner, and just willing to burn down the initial bouts of time.
Control. Looking like it's going to be the next pick on the list. Actually, let's see, onto the site. Mira's going to go down. In the meantime, mid control all going to be onto Chandra. And actually, that one not quite going to reach, but it won't matter. Sonic finds the kill, losing players left, right, and center. And now, with 2 players left on this A site, the bomb can pretty much go anywhere. JR still in the back of checkers, hiding behind the box. If Fitch goes around this corner, he should have the duel. The timing works out in his favor. We now know there's at least one player over onto this B site. Chop, however, missing the spray is going to mean he's countered out and leaves them in a troublesome situation. Somehow Hootie is able to get one more. Looking for more once again, but JR always seems to be in the wrong position when it comes to these retake scenarios, as he's left in mid. However, there are a few low players.
Yeah, but the ops already posted up on the angle here from Ramzik. So if JR were to just kind of peek his way out of Z connector, he should get dealt with swiftly, but he's been able to find at least one. SNK goes down. Ramzik starting to just shuffle his position to the side of the red box, still holds the angle. JR could have gone for this had he so chosen, but decides instead to just go for the save. I like this. Doesn't get over aggressive, doesn't get greedy, and he will move that 1 AK forward. But what a fantastic start here from Tengri. This is now the 6-1 start to the T side of Cash, and they've got players just firing off. The opening frag of that round actually comes through a duel through Squeaky Door. We saw both players wallbanging it, trying to find the kill, and ultimately Vega Squadron forfeit that frag over. So initial man advantage easily obtained thanks to Tengri's heads-up play, and then from that, they just exploit themselves into the A site. Again, as you said, JR, a little far away there, but it was a rapid execution, so kind of costly on the timing.
He will at least have the Catalyst Rifle to play with going into this round, and thanks to the loss bonus, the next one will be a full buy, so at least make things a little bit better for them going forward. The problem is now, Tengri looking very, very strong on their T side. And a lot of the time, at least on the majority of maps we've seen from them so far, it's been the CT side that's been far more dominant. And actually the T side where they've struggled a little bit. So if this continues in such a manner, I can't put it across maps, of course, from this tournament. But I'm feeling pretty confident if I was on the Tengri side, especially considering this is not their map pick. Overpass is next to come. Their best map we've seen so far of Mirage, although they have lost to Vega on that already.
So now it's actually going to be Tengri with a little bit of mid control. We've seen them play the counter mid, but this time it's Ramzik with the opener. That's over towards the B site. So they're getting information on middle, which is currently stacked from Vega. That AK there in play, but now down as SNK takes the frag. Hootie with 1 at the very least, so it is a 3v4, but he is dealt with, as is Kashander. It is just Chopper standing, and he's got himself the Deeg, but he's also got himself headshotted. Down and out. Tengri with a 6-point lead now, just asserting dominance here on Cash. We've seen them kind of pick up the pace in that last round, so playing their anti-eco with a little bit of aggression. I like it. Shows that they're able to change the pace, change up that tempo, and really keep Vega Squadron on their toes. That 1 AK was inside of middle with the pistol arrows by its side, but because it gets dealt with swiftly, it doesn't really have much impact, and so Vega Squadron are going to have to really rely on this buy.
Now going to go for the aggressive peek. For the Squeaky Door. Nobody here at the moment, although we do have Pachanga far enough away that he won't have heard the door open, and because of that, that's why he's playing so passively. The sound cue doesn't go as far as potentially people think. He's going to be waiting. Patience key at the moment for the T side as they sit passively across the map. expecting some sort of change after the tactical pause, and normally that involves some sort of aggression. And actually, almost the timing gets the better, but JR will still get the frag. Actually unscopes just as he comes around the corner, but quick enough. He will pick them up the first. Now the T side have to work with a man down, something they haven't had to do too much thus far. They seem to be setting up again to look for that mid control, but never mind. Fitch, he evens it up.
That was Mir's smoke grenade that allowed Fitch to cross, and Fitch is just going to keep coming furthermore towards the site. Mir is down. Fitch with one hell of an opener over here towards the B site. SNK dropping Kashander as well, so the 5v4 for Vega Squadron turned 2v4 as Tengri just picked things up towards the B site. SNK asserting himself in mid, now rotates towards the vent. Bomb active, JR standing, and at least he gets another frag. But this is Tengri bouncing back from the man disadvantage. I mean, I love to see that kind of rapid aggression, right? JR finally gives up, or finally gets that opening frag towards the A site. We see Vega Squadron with a chance, but Tengri just immediately shift themselves into the B site. And that, to me, Tom, shows a very formidable understanding of cash. It's the kind of map where if your opponent shows aggression, you have to mirror it. If they take map control, you need to contest it back. And that's exactly what they do. Using Fitch to get into the B site, exploiting the CT's own smoke grenades, and ultimately keeping Vega Squadron on only one round.
Not only exploiting the smoke, but he's able to get a second kill when moving onto the site as well. And I really like the boost hold in mid. I don't think that's seen enough when you just leave a player on the boost, because to actually exploit that player later on when you're trying to retake, you're not really thinking about middle. You're thinking more about the idea of, okay, we need to get back into the site. How are we going to use our nades? How are we going to work as a team? And two players go down trying to just get rid of that player on boost. So just smart stuff coming out from Tengri, relying on the players to get the entries, but having enough faith that they still leave the player boosted in that sort of round. And again, it's the same man again. This time, not on boost. SNK will get that opening pick.
Pachanga just continues to pry into the A site. It was him who actually hit that wallbang through the door earlier on in a previous round, and he attempts it yet again. JR, that one opper, still just holding his angle in mid. Nobody really presenting themselves, so Tengri doing a very good job of minimizing their risk-taking. They're just using some grenades over towards the A site, drawing the rotation here from Vega Squadron as all three pistoleros head that way, and one of which now dead as Fitch hits a ripper from afar, the AK paying dividend. But Hootie up close with the CZ is going to be able to find at least something here for Vega. They are just contesting this A site, but it's inside mid that JR takes another. Pachanga with a headshot dropping Hootie, still keeps the attention towards A, and it's during that time that the bomb sneaks its way to the B site.
Gamble so far at least seems wrong, but they do bring it back to a 2 versus 2 as Chopper removes the flanker of Pachanga. They are looking for somebody to peek into his crosshair. They don't have a kit, so they still have to move quickly. An AK has been picked up. JR unable to spot anyone as of yet, and he has to be careful of the right-hand side where Sonic sits. To check all the way into that very corner. It takes quite a wide peek. It will be wide, and Chopper gets it as well. Ramzik, the last one left alive, going to peek back in. Takes the first as well, and Chopper has to go for the defuse. Ramzik just easily finishing off both. Doesn't even break a sweat. And the 9-1, the massacre continues.
This is not nearly as close as I would have expected, Tom. At least not yet. But we do see Vega making another change in their defense. I mean, there's the round that JR gets aggressive over towards Squeaky Door, nets them that 5v4, and puts them in a prime position. This time, they're going to try it with the double op setup. So again, just shifting their strategy ever so slightly and trying to find something that works here. They've been doing a good job of contesting with some of their eco rounds. Others have been very much flubbed. But this could be the solution. They go for the aggression inside of middle as well, leaving the oppers on the extremities. Chopper with the opening frag over towards the boost gets Vega that 5v4. So the 3 rifles inside of mid, again, the shift up, making something happen. But can they convert the advantage? Because last time they threw it away.
I think Kashan can get a second as his teammate falls. Keep that man advantage going. In the meantime, the push onto the site. We've already seen a rotation back from Chopper, who's able to aid Hootie smoked off in the corner. The bomb will be retrieved. Chandra still sat in mid, but the CT have pretty much still got control of every single portion of the map. The T's unable to really gain any sort of map control, and a lot of the success they've had has been over toward this mid position. At the moment, Cassandra somewhat isolated, although a quick rotation is available. He won't need it, so he'll find that first kill and just Molotov off to make sure that Fitch is unable to trade. Sat alone now, has the bomb at least, 35 seconds left, an awful lot still to do. Knows where opponent sits, but he's moved since, and while Chopper through the smoke will hit that kill as well. Nice stuff from Vega, lovely adaptation in middle. And Tengri, this is something they've been very good at so far. The second something goes wrong for them, they take a pause. They give themselves some time, and they think of something new.
I mean, that's really what it's been, right? It's just been innovation here from Tengri, just staying versatile in their T side. And at the same time, Vega's been trying to throw in some variations of their own. This time it finally works. I mean, the op boost, again, the op rush over towards Squeaky paid off the first time, but then they throw away the round. This time, again, they put those oppers towards each bomb site, put the 3 riflers inside of mid, try to clash versus Tengri, disallowing Tengri from playing their game and instead setting the tempo themselves. Cash is a really fun map in that regards, that the CTs, if they so choose, can very much set the pace. And that's what we see. The 3 rifles paying off, the 2 ops just locking down the bomb sites and then coming in with some kills when need be. But do Tengri figure it out fast enough? That's the question. Ramzik's going to have 1 op here for the T side. That double op's still in play, and it's going to be a similar strategy. They double down 2 players towards the B site, and look at Chopper getting aggressive towards B main. Gets a lot of information early on, but it's now that Tengri start to shuffle their way over, and Chopper's inside the vent. So it's a delayed 3-man mid play with Chopper here for the fast rotation. Here comes the flash, but it doesn't pay off. Fitch looks away. Mir is able to grab 1 frag here for the CT side. It's still the 4-on-4. Vega Squadron trying to rotate into B, but they're getting bottlenecked. Thankfully, JR with 1, but Fitch able to trade yet again as the CTs hold the checkers. The bomb's on the site, both players nearby, but Kashander with Mir another frag as Mir will take him down. Sonic trades it back, and it's all on him to clutch. He's got himself the off. 29 points of health and an avenue towards the A site. All of a sudden, things get a little wacky here, and it's Vega with the counter boost.
Actually sort of baited him into a rotation as well after he manages to sneak through. Miz, not hearing any footsteps. Surely Mir has to realize soon that it is going to be back towards this site. In terms of money, the T's, even after all of these rounds streaking along, they haven't managed to build up a lot of money. So the bomb plant could actually be highly valuable, but Sonic not really thinking about the value of that at the moment. He wants to win this round. It may be a 2 versus 1, but he has the AWP. Gonna go for the plant. Now, he doesn't know the Houthi is still waiting. Just gonna have to stick to this site, try and find the individual jewel. Smoke does go down. I think that was meant for Heaven, but it actually smoked CT instead. He finds the first pick, bringing it into the 1v1. Mir now going to be coming from the same angle. May not be expected by Sonic, but as he goes peeking in, it seems like the AWP may just be homed on his position. Sonic with the clutch. 1 versus 2. And the first day we saw him play, he was bottom of the board every single time, not having impact. Earlier, we saw him step up. He was pinnacle. And again, impact kills. We finally saw Vega in a position where they were set to win another round. And he denies.
Vega's playing checkers and Sonic's playing chess because that was just so smooth. Despite the botched smoke grenade, he actually clutches that 1v2, forces Vega to come in on 2 separate occasions. Their retake was just not very harmonious. And now it is Tengri with another hard reset. So the CT is certainly feeling the heat here on their map choice. Oh my goodness. There's a couple of Deegs, couple of umps, and an M4 for Vega Squadron. Lackluster buy yet again. It's been the entire story of this half.
Ability already burnt down fairly low. One of the incendiaries will go out. JR with the second. Again, patience. Key for this T side. Looking to still make some money of their own. You can see if you look at the economy for them, not really anything built up. Mir should have spotted Pachanga over in checkers, but the bomb still further back. A little bit of aggression coming out from JR as well towards that B site, but really anything that's going to give them too much information. Maybe a few sound cues if they do go running towards that B site. With 40 seconds left, the majority of players do seem to be sitting over towards A main and slowly making their way forward, but so are the CTs. The bomb is actually the player running away. If they could catch him, that could be the round, but he's just going to get into the corner. But this is perfect. It means the CT side can actually stack the site.
But they're not stacking A. They still have 4 players over towards mid. Luckily, Hoodie's going to buy some time thanks to that ump. Sonic with the headshot gets the bomb across, and Ramzik watched the flanks. So that's now the 3-on-3. 2 pistoleros still here for Vega Squadron, and they're actually going to opt to boost Chopper over mid so that he can continue to flank. But he's looking for a gun first. And meanwhile, SNK and Sonic setting a boost of their own towards the back of Quad, trying to assert the rifle dominance, which they will. SNK with a man advantage here on the cards, but Tengri still pinned towards the site as its only Chopper standing. And Ramzik, despite the fire and the flames, hits himself the op shot to get 11 rounds on the board for Tengri and keep Vegas stagnant at 2. It is not going to be a rifle round here in the 14th, Tom. It is pistols yet once more.
Yeah, this is a complete reversal of what we saw earlier today. Versus Prosto when they absolutely dominated. It was Vega on the T side, which was far, far better, but to come back after such a deficit is going to have to take a huge mental reset going into that second half, and I feel like they still need to pick up at least the last couple of rounds. This is what they have to do it with, pistols. If they can win this one, then maybe their opponent will have a similar buy in the next. It really does show how close a lot of these rounds have been, considering 11 have gone to Tengri and they still don't have any money in the bank. But it doesn't really help Vega looking forward, saying, yeah, at least we kept it close. Yeah, close doesn't really win anything. And at the moment, looking at the scoreline, maybe neither do Vega.
I mean, there was a real chance for Vega to at least get some rounds on the board, because in round 10 and 12, it's Tengri who win the 1v1s. And in between, Vega's able to win that one and then get hard reset. So it was maybe there, a closer half, but right now it's just Tengri across the kill feed until JR and Mir take 2. Pistols asserting dominance here over towards the A site. Couple of nice smoke grenades and flashbangs actually net them frags aplenty. None of the guns they had in this round have actually gotten frags. It has been only pistols. Tengri just getting obliterated, really, thanks to the sidearm. Tengri is going to have 2 players still up, both of which towards Squeaky Door. They're just gambling here on the execution towards A, hoping for a bomb plant and the ability to hang on versus a no-utility retake. It is a flash and frag. That's all they've got. Not a single kit in the cards. But Hoodie's able to actually hold back the man in Squeaky as SNK will clear the site. The bomb's been dropped. That UMP still standing, but it's Kashender on the rotate with another frag. So Vega Squadron, after all this time, finally find a third. Again, the 2 clutch rounds go the way of Tengri. This could be 5 for Vega, but that is not the case. At least they'll get a rifle purchase here for the final round.
Just Counter-Strike things. Of course, it's
Just
the worst buy they've had in a while that wins them around. Absolute nonsense, but the individual jewels working out for the pistols. Again, they're going to go for this heavy mid-presence. 3 players aggressively pushing out. Ramzik, maybe a little bit suicidal, pushes into the fire and is punished because of it. JR with the AWP will add another to that death toll. And well, Kanga is going to be waiting. Mir already low on HP. Hoping to spot someone. The Squeaky Door's been open, so they definitely know of his presence. SNK boosted back up, but there's still a player waiting in mid in the form of Chopper. Mir will catch out Pachanga as he hopes to push out unnoticed. Now the remaining 2 players, well, really only looking at SNK with that AK. Because Sonic needs to get pretty damn close, but there's one at least. Bomb actually rotating over towards that B side, and for some reason there's nobody there. JR just about getting back in time. I think he's going to switch over towards the CT spot. I think he's aware that they've given up this position for a little bit too long. A Chopper on the rotation through vent. Going to give them a lot of control in this situation. And the T's, they are slowly pushing in that direction. Mir may get caught on the flank, however. SNK still doing work, though.
Now he's dealt with. Chopper knows he's there, so the trade on the table. Sonic just walks right by that last man, grabs the AK in a last-ditch effort to grab another round, but Tengri going to stay at 11. Now, Vega Squadron only have 4. That is certainly a deflated CT side for cash, but I think there was possibility there, Tom, for more. I mean, we saw earlier on Cobblestone between Prosto, and Quantum Bellator, that kind of, last-ditch effort of 5 of the last 6 rounds just getting swung back, right? The final breath of life that kept them in the game. And it was almost there for Vega Squadron. Again, round 10, round 12 comes down to the 1v1, and it's Tengri who are able to win both. Had those gone the other way,
1v2,
5 out of 6. Yeah, exactly. So it was definitely a possibility for Vega to have a better first half. And now with the pistol being a possibility for them, this game's not over yet. Although they're certainly starting to sweat.
Eagle on Chopper. Know how deadly this guy can be with this very pistol, but it's Ramzik to start things off as he takes the peek into A main. Cassandra actually in a decent position where he may be able to catch him. The problem is he doesn't know the other player is, and actually Ramzik just going to continue his push into A main. That position on the map completely abandoned. There's also a push out mid from Mir. May be able to catch Pachanga if he goes to cross. Will be spotted out, but never mind. It's the alternative that happens. Pachanga finds the headshot onto Mir, gives a 2-man advantage over to Tengri. And if the CT side win this round, things are looking bleak.
One last push into the B site. 3 players here, so Tengri just going to full commit to the rotation over. JR clearing corners. They could go for the counter boost back into mid and try to shuffle towards the A site, but it's SNK and Pachanga with another 2 frags. JR 1v5. Has he got it in him? He's got the deagle, he's got a flash, and he's got himself the bomb. But he's also pinched inside the corner, so Pachanga's going to try to wallbang him out. And at this point, he's doomed. He's doomed, Tom. Fitch able to clear it out. 1v1 duels. JR comes up empty-handed.
Wow. A flawless pistol round.
Tackle. This is so unnecessary.
I told you. Tengri again. They did this before when they hit 14. I think they did it again when they hit 12 as well. And if I remember correctly, this is exactly what they did. They won the pistol and then they lost the next round. Now they did win the game. This was against QB, but it's still these sort of things that, because for me it's just like, okay, they're taking the mickey. Imagine if you're the admin who has to actually say, okay, tactical pause. Technical pause, 12-4 up after winning the pistol. Interesting stuff. Maybe they're actually just talking about some crazy strategy we're going to see on this CT side. But considering they've gone for flat rifles across the board, playing things very, very safe. Although limited in utility and only 1 kit. So still a big chance. And any kill that comes in for the T side gives them a rifle. So you've got to weigh it up in both senses.
Looks like Vega are coming into this one with a game plan. 3-man boost over mid. Already closing the distance here. Ramzik's going to find that first frag. The players line up, and he takes 3. Chef Ramzik cooking up a storm here as Fitch will find the 4th. Mir, last man standing, all alone, and doomed. Tengri with a fast conversion point. So that's 13-4 now on the table. Tengri just asserting themselves all across the map.
I think they might need another tactical pause after that one. 2 flawless rounds, the pistol and the follow-up, meaning there should be nothing coming out from Vega. Because normally the extra kill might give you a P250 or a flashbang or something, but they really can't afford it. They need to have that extra utility to going into what could be their only buy on the T side. They were so good earlier on this map. I think they won the first half 13-2. When they played earlier on the T side. This time they might not even have one. They are going to try and get this bomb down. Now, it's a retake strategy on the A site, playing at range. So this could actually work. I think it will work. They should get a bomb plant fairly comfortably, in fact, just popping out this door.
Unless they wait too long and we see Tengri get aggressive towards B, find that frag on JR and net information. But right now, Tengri, they're set up for this. So even if they lose that bomb site and have to go for the retake, it's what they expected. It's going to be a win on both sides of the spectrum, seeing as there's no money invested here for Vega Squadron. But then again, Ramzik, because of the bottleneck door, could just spray down, mow all his targets. There's the kill towards B, draws the attention of Ramzik away, so the bomb plant should shine through, and then the retake will certainly happen, unless they botch it. But it's Fitch and Ramzik with 4 frags simultaneously found, Tengri to 14, and Vega with at least a bye on the cards.
Yeah, that's... The thing is, though, you have to look at that from both perspectives. For Tengri, it means they don't lose a player again. Like, that's 3 flawless rounds. Every CT round so far, they haven't lost a player. They built up so much money. But from the Ts, that's the difference between having a buy with maybe a smoke or 2 to everything. All the trimmings, everything they want. Maybe not an AWP onto JR, which would have been the icing on the cake. But instead, they have AKs, they have Molotovs, they have smokes. So that was a win for them. They would have taken that any day. The fact is, 1 kill wouldn't really have made much of a difference anyway. So having that bomb plant is huge for them. And it gives them a decent buy going into, as said, what could be their only buy in the game. Of course, the same weaponry kept up for the CT side. We're going to see the Shroud boost put in. I think there's a little bit of pre-fire going through. I think it is going to happen.
They're wary of it. They'll get it done. That's the better angle right there from Fitch, standing on top of the light fixture. So, bit of an off angle, gives you additional cover as well, allows for you to fall back safely, as long as Squeaky Door is kept control. And so it's Ramzik with a little bit of a crossfire actually set. He's going to keep his eyes on Door, and it's 2 frags from Tengri. Fantastic setup, nets them a 2-man advantage in what could be one of the only gun rounds on Vega's T side. Fantastic play right there.
Yeah, however, we'll be able to trade one back, take over mid control as well. There's 2 players still deep in this B site. So it gives a good opportunity to actually have a bit of a split, especially with Mir actually finding a second. As he manages to boost up, this round just falls apart for the CT side. Only 2 players remain after what looked so good for them. The 2-man advantage now falls back, and not only that, but Sonic's going to get tagged down. However, there's still a trade available as SNK is able to get one. He's looking tempted to go back towards actually mid. This is risky. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock. If there's somebody holding the cross when they go to plant the bomb, they do still have a smoke. But if he goes down, then this is the round done. There's nothing that can be finished by the remaining player. But in fact, he actually drops the player holding the cross. That's enough. That'll be the bomb down, leaving Sonic low on HP. 1 versus 2 clutch to try and come in. Now, he's managed it with less and an AWP, but he peaks at the wrong time. Mir with an absolutely massive round. 4 kills from him, and he solely keeps his team in this game.
Man, that was scary for a moment, though. Vega Squadron not only just playing on the time, but they lose all the information that they had gained by taking the A site because both players exit. Both players go back to play the bomb control and then counter boost the man over. So that could have gotten scary. It certainly was, actually, but Vega Squadron still convert. Again, all thanks to Mir. Glorious 4K. And that's all despite the 5v3 advantage that Tengri initially established. However, for Tengri, because they kept 5 players alive over and over, because they retook in the 3rd round without using that utility, they still have cash for days. So they buy into this one fully. Everyone's on grenades. They're actually going to be a little reserved here with SNK and Pachenga not getting all the trimmings, but Vega Squadron set up for the A site yet once more. Mir and Kashander leading the charge and crossing the bomb towards site. Man above towards the rafters trying to find frags, and he does. That's Ramzik with another through the smoke. 2nd headshot and a 4v3 for Tengri.
Man looking to bring them through again. He's 20-7. We saw him have an incredible first day. He hasn't done quite yet. Gonna go pushing back in. The team are waiting. There's control over towards middle from Chopper as well that needs to be dealt with. And actually it won't be. It's in fact Hootie to find that kill. As the push looks to come in. Now the flank is available, and actually there goes SNK as well. They haven't even got towards this site yet, and they're already into problems. JR above. It's going to make things even more difficult as they take over main control, but it's not really worth too much. Ramzik trying to do everything alone, but JR with a lovely spray transfer closes down this round once again. And although the money seemed to be stacked, looks like they finally run out.
That one there is all JR, the insurance policy, by just crouching on top of forklift. There was actually a moment, I believe, that one of the counter-terrorists spots his head, just a smidgen of it, over the side of the railing. But because he's crouched, because he's just so tucked into his position, he's not found out, and he is able to come up with those final 2 frags. So Vega Squadron with a breath of life, keeping Tengri away from overtime at the time being. It is 14-6. JR Chopper, 2 fast frags. That's going to be the anti-eco. Already netting 4 kills for Vega. Making quick work here, the defense.
Bitch going for audacious shots. Getting a little bit close. Eventually, Mir will turn around and finish him off. Mir definitely having a resurgence so far. The caps lock pause called in by Sonic, which I don't think they realized doesn't actually pause the game. There we go. 14-7. As said, Tengri are very good with their pauses normally. Every once in a while, we see the odd questionable, possible BM pause. But in this round, they're not going to be going for it. And actually, second time now that we've seen Ramzik with enough money to buy an AWP and he's decided against it. Obviously, I don't really blame him because the last round he had an M4. He got a triple. All 3 kills were the only 3 kills actually in that round. But I do feel like it limits a dynamic a little bit, or maybe even just a fear from this T side, because normally once you see an AWP, you either move away or you try and counter it with your utility. So wonder if that will come in a little bit later. They still have a 7-round buffer. Not really too worried as of yet, but it does seem that Vega Squadron, at least on their T side, this sort of fundamental, aggressive counter-strike working for them so far. See if it continues.
JR is going to support Chopper from the back of T-spawn. Doesn't have his trusty op. Could have got it. Has plenty of cash to do so, but they're just going to play the rifles still. I mean, you were just mentioning, right, that the classic CS aggression that we've kind of seen from this T side thus far, and the 5 rifles definitely plays into that much stronger. So if they don't need the op, don't buy it just as of yet. Again, we saw some variation in their CT side, and even though this score is very close to being finished, they will have the chance to change things up if need be. We're actually going to see Vegas slow things down in this round. They're using the Molotovs towards mid, just burning out the corners and ensuring that Tengri haven't gotten aggressive, which they really haven't. Barring the man over towards NBK on A site, it is just more passive holds. We've got a man inside the Z connector, one over towards the E box. Tengri just waiting to spot an offense, get some kind of confirmation.
It's actually ready with a flash set up if they're to go pushing in, but I think just a little bit of a fake that's been shown over towards this A site is enough to pull him away, leaving one man alone to defend this battle. SNK doesn't have any support in this situation, needs to buy time, he'll get one, and that is all. But the trade over on the other side of the map gives them an advantage on the retake. He has done just about enough. There's still players holding back towards middle though, Cassandra, which leaves the remaining 2 players on this side with an awful lot to do. He will in fact come back around as 3 players build up over towards this CT side. Only 1 player coming out from a different angle, and that will be Sonic. So if he goes down, it should leave them pretty flat. But so far, well, not so good. It's traded evenly, only down to Sonic yet again, as Hootie gets himself a 3rd kill in this round. Sonic gonna go pushing, and there's nothing he can do. A quad kill again. Vega Squadron seem to step up individually in different rounds. We've seen JR, we've seen Hootie, and we've definitely seen Mir. And once again, they'll claw back another.
Fantastic plays coming in from individual performances. Vega Squadron keeping it rolling here. I mean, Tengri could have gone for a cleaner retake with the flashbangs that Sonic had, but we saw him actually being that one player inside of mid, right? So he's keeping his attention over towards the mid doors. He's ever so worried that there's going to be that long flank from Vega Squadron. They try to just clash on the bomb site in the retake with no utility whatsoever, and it is just picked apart, mostly thanks to Hootie. He just locks down the back of the bomb site, plays off of his teammates' peaks, and gets those trade frags aplenty. So Vega Squadron making Tengri work to close this out. They don't have the economy to go for a full buy whatsoever. It's just going to be Kevlar and Deegs. So Vega Squadron with what could be another and a potential double digits as well. It's close, Tom. Much closer than one would have expected after that deflated first half. Makes you wonder, had either of those clutch rounds gone the other way, who ends up winning this game?
I would have been interested to see if there was a knife round, because obviously in the setup we have, it's basically done by coin toss, and then you get the choice of whether you want that sort of final map pick. You get to choose which side you're on, or you have the sort of choice of banning first or second. So what that means is when you pick the map, you don't choose the side. So Tengri actively chose the T side, and definitely the right decision versus Vega, because you have to wonder, if they started on the T side, what sort of scoreline we could have seen the other way, and whether or not Tengri would have been deflated themselves. Either way, that is not the case. We are going to have a technical pause this time. Tengri only with one tac pause left, so anything else they're just going to have to switch up on the fly. But they are only looking for 2 rounds, even something a little bit cheesy. I'd like to see maybe some aggression over towards that B side, just as a team in this round, rather than playing sort of individually in these pistols. They have managed to find picks, but I just think the effectiveness of being able to trade, getting a rifle, maybe catching out JR, although as of recent, he has been looking to sit very far back, and if he does that and they go aggressive, then they'll run into some problems, to say the least.
Yeah, speaking of staying back, I mean, there's been actually multiple plays now, I think, where Vega Squadron, despite rushing into bomb sites and taking them by storm as a unit, they're keeping their players as insurance policies further away from Tengri. These are the kinds of rounds versus pistols that they have to make sure they do that, because, again, with this sort of a score line, it's not necessarily going to come down to Tengri pulling something out of the hat, but rather, what if Vega make a slight mistake? They have no wiggle room whatsoever. They can't afford to give up one of those kind of offhand freebie rounds. It would be a real kicker for them to lose versus a buy like this on Tengri. So these are the kinds of rounds that honestly scare me more, Tom, because Vega Squadron, if you just overassume the lackluster buy of Tengri here, it could cost you. And these are the kinds of rounds that will haunt you for months and months to come. This is a very crucial game. This is a very crucial first map. And JR with the body bang through mid, hits the headshot. Ramzik is no more.
I was waiting for that. He's been doing it a lot. We saw it earlier today. I've only seen 2 maps of Cash, and that's the 3rd time that shot's been hit. There's only one man hitting this shot. It is JR. So timing is everything. And that wall bang, I have to imagine, is the most tilting thing on the planet. You may have some sort of strategy set up for this round. You may have something ready to do with these pistols, and instead you're dead 10 seconds into the round. Or even 5. It is exactly 5. Ooh, Fitch, though. Nice little league shot. Make that a second as well. Even goes for the spam through the wall. Didn't look too far away. Of course, keeping the money low could actually be very effective for this Tengri side, because these rounds have been close. The money hasn't built up to a ludicrous amount. He's actually going to get away with an AK as well, just running for the hills, although Mir, very well positioned, but goes down 2. That's 3 players now. This is just a pistol round, like, not expecting to be doing this much damage. And as said, these rebuys are going to be ever costly. It could even come down to the fact that where if they lose too many, that if they lose the next round, they'll be reset.
Looks like everyone gets away, including Fitch on 22 points of health. So he employs that deagle quite nicely. Picks up 3 frags on it. Not only was it a pistol, it was a 1v5, and he's still able to deal all of that damage. But you're absolutely right. That is going to curb the economy of Vega ever so slightly. They will still hang on to a pretty chunk of change, but it's there. It's at least been dealt a small smidgen of damage thanks to that individual play. Again, individual play after individual play, most of which shining through from Vega, but at least that little something here from Fitch. Tengri gonna go for the 2 players inside of mid, leaving Fitch alone on A, but immediately that Z connector is going to rotate towards truck. So, a bit more of a forward position. Ramzik coming in to help out Pachanga, who is going to get burned out of the corner. Molotov extinguishes the flames for once, as Hootie keeps him pinned with the spray fire. But it's the man below, Mir, who takes one to the noggin, dropped to 50 points of health as the smoke will block him off. Frag grenade trying to keep players at bay as Pachanga's flames are extinguished once more. He's still here, just trying to buy time. But it's Chopper who deals with his teammate first and foremost. Pachanga knows that his life is on the line. And the threat is ever so real. 3rd Molotov's the charm, forces him out. Hootie takes 1, Mir with another, and Fitch with a response, but it's still the man advantage for Vega to play off of.
Problem is they're on the complete wrong side of the map at the moment as the bomb makes its way over towards that B site. The vent boost going down gives a pretty good idea over towards this T side where these remaining players are going to be. Sonic and Fitch. Fitch right at the top of the board. Sonic, one of the men to get ever so important clutch in the previous half. Trying to push back in. Uti has spotted him as he walks into the site, and they're both going to go down in quick succession. That's now 6 rounds in a row for Vega. Tengri starting to worry for them a little bit.
Man, not only do you win both pistols, but you convert for all 6 points, plus the fact that you get an 11-4 first half. Tengri can't lose this game. This is the kinds of ones that you really can't let slip through your fingers, but Vega's just doing such a good job right now. Everybody's coming to life on their team. Everybody's had a round where they are the most impactful man. It is not a one-man show, but rather multiple one-man shows over and over. This round, it's Ramzik with the opening headshot as Hootie just gets dealt with swiftly. Kashander with a trade frag over towards A main to the immediate 4v4. Sonic's now going to try and get burnt out of the corner. Has to fall back. It doesn't take damage as Kashander's going to find another headshot, and we see Vega gear up for the A-take. Frag after frag, the defense falls, and it is Chopper who leads the charge versus SNK. Another headshot taken. Sonic, the last man standing, over towards the toxic barrels. Deagle's all he's got. JR creeps ever so close, but Sonic yet to be snubbed out here. Could get himself a parting frag, maybe 1 or 2. Has no kit, no utility, but just the trusty Deag.
Oh, no. Oh! Okay, JR. Took a little bit too much time there to get that final frag, but decent round from them again. Now, after the little bit of worry, after the amount of damage they were taking to their economy, Vega have definitely secured enough cash to continue their buys. I think the fact would have to be the only way they're going to run out of buys if they actually lose the game. Finally, we see that AWP. It's been a long time coming. Ramzik deciding that it's necessary. He really could be the difference maker. This guy is a phenomenal talent. Both players this time will miss.
Ramzik rotating over towards the A site, so feeling a bit of a pressure here, but it's a lot of damage dealt. Kashander dropped to 19 points of health through the spam war. Hootie clearing out A main, just checking corners, making sure that there's no CTs pushed up. I mean, Vega themselves use that A main aggression on their CT side, so good that they are self-aware. But it's Ramzik actually who's trying to find a tight little angle here towards A main. Doesn't know if there's a man pushed up, and there is. But Hootie, at that very moment, displays his head on a podium. It is not taken down, but rather the shot goes astray. It is Vega Squadron gearing up for the A site take. All 5 players poised and prepared, and it's going to be off the smokes.
One's actually thrown in to sort of deny vision as they tried to push out onto the site. Yet to really get too much done, shooting at his own teammate, and actually 2 entry kills, but 2 instant traded back. However, the bomb looking tempted to go back in the other direction, because you look at the positions held by these Ts, they're just going to hold them into their own site. Who's retaking who at the moment? As the CTs, yes, you have A, but the bomb is going to leave. Hootie's going to pick up a triple, and I don't know how they managed to do that, but they're going to win another round.
Just using the confusion of the smokes, that great mid control. The first man out actually just wraps all the way to truck and catches the frag. So because of those first 2 kills from Tengri, they know that there's presence on the bomb site. The very presence that they actually sectioned off with smokes. So as opposed to just pushing through it, they say, hey, screw it. Keep him boxed in. Rotate that bomb out. And luckily for JR, because he's in the back, properly playing the bomb, not committing as the front man, he is able to make that mid-round decision. Whoever calls that is just a great on-the-fly play. He's able to just work his way towards the B site, and it's not even the bomb plant that pays dividend. Vega Squadron cleaning it up with kills as Tengri's smokes fade. They're caught in the open. with their pants down, nonetheless, as it is 2 rounds the difference here between Vega and Tengri. Who would have expected, after an 11-4 start, plus the pistol, plus conversions, 8 consecutive rounds going the way of Vega Squadron, lots of individual plays, and now they're asserting themselves through these buys. Quadruple 1D, and Kashander looking to clash towards Squeaky Door first and foremost, will find a frag, but it's A main aggression, and Sonic with a trade. A 4v3 for Tengri off of the deflated buy. The bomb stuck over towards B, and a counter boost from Tengri.
They are looking to find this entry onto the site. SNK. Bam shots. The Molotov, in fact, going to miss in the panic. And, well, we've already seen another come in from Sonic. Still a player in middle. JR with the shot through the wall. Things a little bit more possible, and they're not going to expect me. He's evened up the scoreline once again, and it's happened once more. They've got both players over towards this B site. Not going to get rotating. Get their running shoes on. But Mir is going to hear everything, and there's still enough time to even rotate back if they wanted to. Mir, facing the wrong way, turns around. And again, in these sort of later round situations, when the problems arise, this is the man that Vega turned to. He has got himself another double. And again, wrong site for Fitch. He has to try and retake versus 2.
No kit, no nades. Sectioned off already thanks to the smoke here from Vega. Mir just going to creep his way into the corner. JR locks the bomb. And this could give Fitch actually a 1v1 towards the site. Mir's going to start to clear corners, so a bit of disjointed play coming in from Vega Squadron. Actually forfeits site control. JR's going to get aggressed on up close, but he will win that duel despite the Tech 9. Crucial frag at that. I mean, again, no kit, no utility. Mir could have come in with a flank, but still, they dodged that additional death. Tengri get aggressive over towards A, and it pans out perfectly, but a fantastic mid-round call and a couple of crucial kills go the way of Vega Squadron, allowing for them to now get 1 round away. Tengri have not been able to secure OT. The 16-14 still in the cards, Tom. Oh, this is riveting. 1 op for JR, none on the CT side, and again it is Tengri pushing Sonic ever so close here towards mid.
Saw them win 13-2 C-side half earlier today. They don't even need that many rounds. They need 12. 1 less. And on their way to do it. Flat rifles this time. AWP. Ramzik wasn't feeling it. He's decided against it in this round. JR, however, well, at the beginning of this round had $16,000, so safe to say he's been surviving quite a bit. See some close mid-aggression come out from Sonic. He's got support as well from Pachanga, who's going to be spotting, because previously when we saw this push over the boost, was shot from above. Bomb still lies over towards the speed side. Nade's going to be going out into middle, but it's going to be Sonic to start. Hootie instant on the trade. Ramzik now going to rotate over to help him in mid, and actually will do the damage, managing to find another kill to bring it into a 3 versus 4. Hootie going to duck into the vents, however, and now they're going to hit B.
Man to the back of sight, smoked off. SNK still holds the angle, has support from Heaven, and the rotator inbound, but it's JR to remove the man from above. Hootie gets aggressive, catches another, so SNK has to come up big. He's able to find 1 headshot, but he gets flanked from Chopper. 2v1 with Fitch on the clutch. Flashbang M4, all he has to work with. Hootie tagged already down to 54 points of health. So Fitch is going to find the duel, but Hootie takes the headshot, and we are tied up at 14 apiece. Vega Squadron coming back from the depths of death. This is now 10 consecutive rounds on the board. Oh my goodness. Full utility, full buy for Vega, and a deflated one at that for Tengri. They're going to try to gamble it all here in the 29th round.
I bet they wish they had that pause that they BM'd earlier in the game. I bet they are praying they could take that one back. Oh, you're going to pause after the pistol, are you? Well, you don't have it now. 14-14. 2 rounds needed for either side, but Tengri have needed those for the last 10. This round, they have one of the weakest buys we've seen in quite a while. Of course, the max loss bonus is behind them, but it was a choice of force buy or save. be honest, it seems like they just need somebody to go big. Ramzik was the man to do it previously, but he's gone a little bit quiet. Still top of the board, but it doesn't really help them in these scenarios. It's just fragging capacity at the moment on Vega Squadron that has just destroyed them in all these rounds. Mid-round calls have been on point every single time. This round at least. They've got JR stationed over towards that B site. Still looking to try and find some control over towards A as the bomb is going rotating. Actually, the nade's going to be thrown out. This is all just a bait. They're trying to pull players in and it's worked. An over rotation from Pachanga will leave only 2 players over on this A site as the hit comes in and instantly Cassandra hits the shot. There's one man here to defend. It will be Fitch to save anything here, and it's just not to be for Tengri on this CT side. SNK at least gets the AWP, but do they really want to go for this? Or do they save?
They need to save. They should disengage right now. You do not have money, but at least with a frag, it's a 3v3, so tantalizingly close. They have no kit, and the last bit of utility was just expended, so they have to retake here and now if they're gonna go. And Sonic's found another, Pachanga with a second, so it's just down to Kashander. There's no way Tengri can turn this around unless Kashander can't do it, but they're lit, and he takes both. Pachanga from behind with the trade and the defuse as well. Tengri wait all this time, Tom, just to find it in the 29th round. We have gone the distance.
Absolutely unbelievable. I think this is the first time in a while where it's been the CT side or Tengri coming from a man down to win. It's always been the other way around. That's why we saw in that situation, we see them in a 4 versus 3, and instantly it's no, the round is done. It can't be done. But they retake. Almost Cassandra, the last shred of hope, gets both of the players pushing from in front, but the flanker of Pachanga gets a quad kill in the round, and now a complete change-up. They've gone from no AWPs to double. They want to try and cheese their way through this one, win the map at the depths. Mid control again, Cassandra, he's already out.
Fast aggression into the B site. SNK with a headshot first. Mir's gonna trade it, so there's still these keys come in, and JR burns Sonic alive. So now suddenly a 4 versus 3. We just saw them in the last round actually make this happen, and I don't want to write them off again. Flashbang from above, gonna blind up Hootie, but he chucks a frag back the other way. This time the T side have some nades for the after plant as well. CT's no kit. Double op, 1 flash. This might be OT. Shots come through the smoke and it pays off as Chopper finds 1 frag. Ramzik is all that's left, and Vega Squadron weather the storm yet once more. Overtime happens. What a map here, Tom.
This was a series I said would be great from the beginning, but I never expected this level of competition between these 2 teams. Incredible stuff and an amazing comeback, and it's actually quite surprising considering that 1 round they dropped 1 out of 12, and that's enough to even things up, to save Tengri the embarrassment of losing the full 12 and losing the map. Instead, they get another chance to fight back. They get money to play with. We'll see if maybe that's 1 round resurgence, that 1 little upset that they pulled in that half is enough to kickstart the engines of Tengri and get them this first map.
Vega had one hell of a T side of their own here, but Pachanga's found that open pick already. So the aggression into mid gets shut down. Tengri's still going to just float Ramzik between both A and mid. That Opper heavily tagged, down to 18 health. Still 2 players for the defense at the B site. That's where the bomb lingers. Ever so cautiously. JR trying to find an angle and a pick with that op.
He may have actually hit the shot again. Fitch through the door. Headshot onto Chopper. Ramzik with another. And it looks like someone has definitely put coals into that fire. Got them burning once again. We didn't see them win a round for a long, long time. And now they look to take the first in overtime. But Uti has been a man renowned from coming in spurts. He always seems to just wake up for a round and maybe fade for a little bit. They're going to need him here again. Hasn't spotted out anything as of yet, though, and JR is being tag solo. Ramzik to finish off. JR now with 16 HP. He has the bomb, but he's got so little time to play with. This has to be around for the CT side. They will be taking it in OT. JR even may have to think about saving this AWP now. He's got a flank coming as well, which isn't going to be helping anytime soon. SNK not wanting to give him this AWP. For the CT side, they may even want it for themselves. The double AWP setup as a first investment is very costly, but they decide against it.
So Tengri take the opener here in OT. 1 round already of the 3. Considering we had 11-4 halves and that Tengri only win 1 gun round. Remember, they have 4 rounds on their CT side, just like Vega, but the difference is that 3 of those 4 are the pistol and consequent conversions. So this is a fantastic start for Tengri with regulation in consideration, but can they find another? Because that would be icing on the cake. JR ices the head of Pachanga first and foremost here in the second. JR trying to find the trade towards A main as well. Not going to take it. So a bit of map control here for Tengri. Vega Squadron getting aggressive, taking back mid. That's a good understanding of how to play cash. If you lose a portion of the map, you have to force it elsewhere right away. No waiting, play quick, and that's exactly what they do. They've lost a man towards the A site. Now they're just going to head up towards B. 4 players there with Kashender playing anchor.
SNK, a very open position. Vulnerable to both checkers and to the main portion of the B site. You're going to go back into the mini pit. Now, this can be an angle that a lot of teams overlook. After spotting into A main, I think has been seen for quite a while over that side of the map. It has to be guessed eventually that it's going to be this B site. Chopper around the corner. The vents will be popped and the push begins.
JR can't help with the op here, so it's going to come out from the men on checkers. Hootie with the opener. SNK is down. Tengri still just trying to rotate over. Wallbang from Ramzik not going to connect despite the low HP. 20 seconds on the clock as the bomb's now planted in a 5 versus 3, but 3 players lit. Certainly still winnable, although JR is going to make it ever more difficult with that op shot and the pick to Ramzik. 2v5 now as Tengri just have to aggress through the smoke. It's Kashender up close with another. Fitch takes 2, however, with headshots aplenty. 3 lit players, but that'll be enough. The op from Vega Squadron ties things back at 16 apiece, and this game's still neck and neck.
Just look at the fragging over on Vega. It's just an actual joy to see. Every single player is above 20 frags. And to be honest, it's the same for everyone in the server, except for Sonic. But to be honest, Sonic's had some crucial rounds as well, so it's not like you can really count him out for Tengri. Really is a marvel of a game. See who gets that second round in the first half of overtime. If it's the CT side, you'd want to be betting on Tengri to take this. But if you've ever watched overtime before, it's a completely different ball game.
Again, this vent support from Tengri just trying to help out with the B-site players. Vega Squadron have just been spreading themselves, leaving the anchor on the opposite side, trying to find openings across the map, and then shifting into an execution. But this time they put all their eggs in one basket, and they're just going to group up here now. JR has the angle towards headshot, but he throws the Molotov instead. That's going to force SNK back, but here's Sonic in the vents with the opener. Chopper with a headshot to the man on site, so Tengri 4v4. Bomb's been able to cross, and it will be planted as well for B main. Tengri with a 3-pronged retake. Vent, B main, and the standard CT. Can they make this happen with near full utility? Both teams still with nades to play off of. Both teams with players lit, but now it's Vega with the frag. Mir's going to give himself away because of the flash, but he has the support for Chopper. Ramzik's trying to come in on this one, but it's Chopper with another frag, so Tengri get bottlenecked and they have to punch their way out. It's 2 frags for Pachanga, a third but not the last. Chopper seals the deal, and Vega will take that 1-point lead moving into the second half of OT.
Still going to be Tengri going onto their T side. as you said, a lot of the rounds that we saw from Tengri, at least on their CT side, were based off the pistol. There's no pistols anymore. It's all buy rounds. And if you're going off that, if anything, see more from Vega Squadron in these buy situations. They managed 4 on their CT side. This time, they need another 2. No AWP for the T's. 2 going to be on the CT side. Something we didn't see too much from them. The money really didn't allow them to, as they were reset so often whenever they won themselves that individual round. Ramzik performing with the rifle, going for those faster plays. The same as what we can say for Vega. Early into the round, we're already going to see presence over towards A main and Squeaky. And Hootie this time set up with the AWP.
There it is. Ramzik gets dropped, and Hootie actually near hits the wallbang to Chenga as well, so that would have been a nice little 2K, but 1 is still enough. Vega Squadron to the man advantage. Ooh, those are getting close.
Gone much heavier on mid control as well in this round. We saw them with the 3-pronged early defense. Stuck with 2. 1 moving up over towards highway after the early position. Sonic hoping that somebody will go aggressive from Vega over towards this B site, just holding towards the sunroom, but okay. I don't know how he could have expected any CT player to get there, but he's done extra damage, and there we go. JR actually peeks out and takes down the kill. Pachanga able to trade 1 back, but he needs to do more in middle, and it's not going to happen. The push will now be quite lackluster, pushing in on towards this B site. JR is going to go down. Sonic Impact with another, giving a chance over to Fitch. He has been one of the pinnacle players for this team, but he has to go and retrieve the bomb. It's going to leave him with next to no time to actually get onto the site, and he may not even get the chance. He's been spotted. Mir Hootie holding the crossfire, and the AWP will finish him. Will they pick up the second? The answer is no, so they're going to go back to a more standard setup. The T's now, after Tengri having a long time to try and get this match point, are up against 2.
At least they'll get that full buy. Still with an op for Ramzik. But this is it. Game point. Vega Squadron could have just mounted a hell of a comeback and won it out here in OT, despite losing that 3v4 retake in the only gun round for Tengri. Vega still looking to clash here on middle. 3 players here. 1 about to boost up and over. It is being spotted by SNK, so this could be the opener Tengri need, but they need to hit the shot as well, most crucially. Sonic close to the doors, could swing out and try to catch the second man as well. They'll know there's 2 players boosting just because of Mir. And now the support is gone, so Chopper's down. Sonic's going to come swinging out, but he doesn't check just as of yet, and he actually gets dropped by Kashender. You had to know the boost was there. You at least should have checked it. 4v4 is still enough to work with, and SNK watches smoke, so that's another opener here for Tengri. And now another Chopper with Gear 2 through the door onto Pachanga, and a man advantage for Vega Squadron is again on the table. Can they close things out?
Hootie waiting over towards MBK. Trying to check to see if there's anybody around. The problem is they don't know where the remaining 2 players are, and after losing 2 on A, the gamble is to sort of check over towards middle. Ramzik peeks out, gets the pick with the AWP as well, giving the advantage back over towards his B side, but missed shot this time. Chopper is on fire in this round. He may be low, but he's still doing damage, and JR coming in with the support, trying to hit a shot through the wall onto the player planting. Not going to be the case. Molotov will force him out of position. The long rotate also coming out from Chopper to go back towards A main. SNK is just standing in the open, maybe not expecting somebody to be round here this fast, and that's going to be it. The full comeback. Absolute ludicrousy. From 14-4, we see a 19-16 map win from Vega Squadron. It's their map choice, but damn was it difficult.
You get 4 rounds in your opening half. You lose pistol. You don't upset in the force buys. You are down 14-4, and they have the ability to come all the way back. Not only is that such an exhilarating win for Vega Squadron, but imagine how awful Tengri must feel.
Way they do go on to their map choice now. Overpass is next. The third, if we need it, will be Mirage. And after such a long and grueling but wonderful match, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you after.